Hi, it's your friendly neighborhood animator, gamer, and beta fish enthusiast. My name is Kes Smith, and online I go by Butterfly. I love animals, especially my pets, and stories that take you to another world, whether it is living that story through a video game or watching it unfold in an immersive movie or show. And if there are animals, even better. So let's get into it and check out my demo reel.
My mother told me someday I would buy galleys with good oars and sails to distant shores. Stand up high in the prow, you many foemen.
To start off strong, I go with one of my favorite animations, my Vetra Eldra teaser animation. For this, I show possible scenes from my story with the two beginning characters, Arminius and Butterfly. This animation shows my understanding of horizontal parallaxing, with Arminius running through the forest. The background moves the slowest and foreground moves the fastest to create a nice depth of field and realistic panning movement. Here, I hint at a similarity between Arminius and Butterfly with the same composition for each character. This transition is done through a blur and fade between the two scenes. To further bridge this transition, Arminius starts to drop his head, and Butterfly continues this action in her breathing. I also experimented and practiced a bit of fight choreography in this animation. I used smear frames to convey the speed these characters are moving at and smooth out the actions. Continuing with Vetra Eldra is the Vetra Eldra title sequence. For this shot, I learned and experimented with the After Effects 3D camera. I wanted to create a battle scene reminiscent of something seen in a scroll depicting a myth. To achieve this, the wolves are all silhouettes, with color and texture differentiating them. Texture and color work hand in hand to separate the good wolves from the bad, as well as the different packs. Next, we transition into the Monarch TV station animations. Monarch is a station I created for animated shows, predominantly 2D. The station ident is then 2D with a butterfly magically bursting on screen, then landing on and revealing the station name. The station blooper demonstrates my ability for lip sync, as well as some secondary action in the ear flick, which dictates the main action of Butterfly turning in the direction she's hearing noise. Oh, sounds like Spundella's performance is starting. Next up is the beta run cycle. For this, I show my ability to create run and swim cycles for quadrupeds and fish. This then shows overlapping action in the fur, ears, and tongue of Butterfly, as well as follow-through action in her tail and the two beta fish's fins. I also play with timing in this animation, most notably in the beta fish's jumps. When they reach the climax of the jump, I use more frames and hold for slightly longer to let them be clearly seen and allow the fins to flare out. Butterfly then utilizes implied lines to further direct the audience's attention by looking at the fish jumping. I also show my process for going from rough animation to clean line art to final animation. This animation is a bit of a culmination of all my skills with frame-by-frame animation, puppet animation, tweening, and compositing. I also demonstrate my understanding of animation principles with anticipation and overshoot, shown here as Butterfly kicks her leg, with the leg dipping down in anticipation and overshooting as it goes up before settling back into place. This is a good example of smear frames used to smooth and convey the speed of the beta fish. Overlapping action is shown in the fabric and hair blowing on Butterfly. Next is my creative identity animation showing my name with a butterfly and transitioning into my logo and online name. The transition starts with some anticipation in the butterfly folding its wings to prepare for the flap, which overshoots slightly before settling back into place. I include the secondary action of the bubbles to highlight and add more interest to the spin transition. For my logo, I wanted to show the aspects of me that make up Butterfly. So for me, I have my Sona, the wolf, for my name, a butterfly, and for my beta fish, often shown in my animations, the bubble encapsulating it all. For this animation, I demonstrate vertical parallaxing, 3D camera movement, tweening, and secondary animation to create a sense of depth. The parallaxing adds more life and movement to the otherwise still background, while the 3D camera zooms in on the characters in the midground, creating a clear focal point. I then use tweening to bring the characters to life and add a small secondary frame-by-frame animation with the paper blowing in the wind. This animation also shows a diversity of style, as I created a style inspired by YouTube Storytime animation channels. Next up is my Sunken Soundwaves Music Festival promo. For this animation, I created an underwater-themed music festival for Vocaloid music. I designed a singer for this project using underwater creatures and existing Vocaloid characters to create my design, with the idea being she can sing alongside the artists as a projection in the concert. Next up is my laser tag animation. For this, I worked with the client, FlagTag Arizona, to create a looping animation to use as promotion for the company. I created an anonymous character for the client's predominantly younger demographic. The character is ungendered and wears an LED mask so that any child could see themselves in this character. A major requirement the company had is to convey safety, mainly that the character is not running. Thus, the character is walking and looking around, staying aware of their surroundings to show how customers should behave. For this animation, I utilize a combination of 2D and 3D. The background is all 3D with color correction and filters added in After Effects to fit the 2D character animation. Squash and stretch is also utilized in the beanie to give it a boingy effect. And here we are, back with Vetra Eldra to end with a culmination of all my skills and technique improvements. This animation shows my improvement in capability with 2D frame-by-frame animation, camera movement, and compositing. This animation also shows lip sync, composition, and fluid movement in the blowing fur. Along with this is anticipation and overshoot in the butterfly death scene and as Butterfly turns her head in the end. That's all! Thank you to all my friends and family that have supported and cheered me on, as well as to all of you who watch and support my videos. This is only the beginning, and I hope you're as excited as I am for where we go next. Bye!